as unto Christ. This shows that the slave has been lifted from the base position of degrad, degradation. He comes up with some words.
He has a doctorate degree.
Yes.
Degradation.
Degradation. I knew what it was, but I couldn't get it out.
But then yet he puts the cookies on the bottom shelf.
Yes, yes. Where he suddenly worked as a little possible and only when his master was watching. Now, he's the slave of Christ. Christ has made him free. He is to look above the earthly master in his attempt to please his master in heaven. An earthly master could control only the bodies of the slaves. The slaves of Christ have yielded their souls to him, even their total personalities. Remember that Paul called himself a bondslave of Jesus Christ. With goodwill doing service shows that their attitude should reflect their Christian service. When a child of God, whether a slave or a master, employer or employee, gets to the place where the motive is his life is to please Christ, then the hurdles posed by capital and labor are easily passed over. Now, in our day, there's a new kind of slavery, and it's sweeping over the nations of the world. In our own land, where slavery that is not only of the body but of the mind, such slavery is far more pernicious and deadly than that of the Roman Empire. Multiplied thousands are willing to make any sacrifices to foreign ideology, and you can sure tell it in the name you choose. I had a privilege of speaking to a group in the University of Berkeley, California, and that's J. Vernon McGee, not us. These young men who are majoring in political economy have, have turned to the Lord. And it was a time when they were slaves to a particular system of the political economy. But now they're delivered from that. And one young man told me, one time I thought we could manipulate the economy and that we could make everyone prosperous and happy. Now I see that only Christ will be able to bring in that kind of society. That doesn't mean we're going to just try to work, that we won't try to work for it, but it does mean that we know our goal is limited and only Christ can do that. We can break a man's shackles, but only the power of the gospel of Christ, he will make you free. If the Son, therefore, shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. And that's John 8:36. It's Christ who offers freedom. Think of thousands today who are trapped by drugs and alcohol. There's slavery on every side of us. We would be slaves to Christ and to no one or nothing else. Saul of Tarsus was a slave to ideology. He was a Pharisee. When he came to Christ, he was made free. However, immediately he yielded to a new master and said, Lord, what wilt thou have me do? That's Acts 9 and 10. He had become a bondslave to Jesus Christ. Now the Lord has lifted up the employee to a high position. He has dignified labor, and it doesn't make any difference whether a man is working at a bench or digging a ditch or working in an office or mining down in the bowels of the earth or farming the land on top. If he is a child of God, he can say, I serve the Lord Jesus Christ. William Carey was a shoemaker who applied to a foreign missionary. Someone asked him, what's your business? Meaning to humiliate him because he was not an ordained minister. And Carey answered, my business is serving the Lord. I love that. And I make shoes to pay my expenses. He was a servant of Christ. Oh, that men were that kind of workers today. It would change the whole labor scene.
And that concludes that section. Now we're going to move on to section verse 9.